Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a set of Raxiom headlights and taillights for a 2004 Mustang. These range from years 99 to 04, so if you want these on your specific Mustang, it has to be within those years. These are actually LED taillights, so they're the smoked version. Usually they have the chrome see-through version. These are actually the chrome version for the headlights and the taillights. It's going to change the appearance of the Mustang a bit because they are LEDs, and LEDs are usually a lot more sharper than halogen bulbs, and they actually use less energy, so it's actually not going to put much of a draw on the vehicle as the halogens would. So we're going to go ahead and go through and install these, and I'm going to bring you through step by step, show you the tools you need and the process required to get these to fit the vehicle properly. So I'm going to go ahead and get the vehicle in the garage and we'll get started.
Alright, so now we got the hood up. We're going to go ahead and pull up these two pins right here. So they pull straight up and out. Then you want to grab the light, and there's two little pins that go in the corner over here. You want to pull straight out, and it'll pop right out. And there's a connector for the headlights. It's got a little latch on top of it. You just lift up on it, and it should slide right out. Alright, see if you look right here, the actual clip's right here. So then we turn it over to the side, and we go ahead and go for the parking light. And it's got two clips on each side, or one clip on each side. You just pull those tabs out and it pops right off. All right, we'll go ahead and move the light over to the table, and we'll go on to the next part.
Okay, so here's the setup I'm going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and use some ratchet crimpers. These are actually really useful. Some strippers, makes it a lot easier to strip them. You're not having to use a conventional stripper. Now these come with the kit. What these are quick tapping connectors. So I actually have my own, and I have had nothing but great luck with these, so I'm going to use the ones that I have. Also for the parking lamps, I'm going to be using these, so that way if he wants to swap them back to the stock ones, he can do that easily without having to cut the wires. You don't have to do this, it's not required, but it's something that I want to do. These connectors are actually insulated, and they're waterproof. So if any water gets up in there, it's not going to cause a short. It's actually pretty important. I'll actually probably end up wrapping a little piece of electrical tape around those, just so that way they stay just that extra amount of security on them. Now this harness right here is going to be the parking light harness. So the instructions are saying to use supply connectors, which I'm not doing. I'm using exactly identical connectors, but the brand that I like, to splice the black wire from the new headlight to the black wire to the parking pole harness, which is pretty simple. We got the black wire right here on the outside. And it wants you to take the new headlight with the blue wire and wire it to the brown on this harness. So these connectors, or these, what do they call it, insulation they put on these, has a little slot all the way down. That's how they get the wire into these covers here. So you want to feel for it. Take something sharp, or knife, razor blade, whatnot, and carefully cut them without going into where the wires are, because they wrap a lot of tape around these for some reason, probably to keep the water out. And just pull up on there, and you'll be able to get that section out. So now that we got that done, I'm gonna leave that tape on there. Actually, just pull this back a little bit. So the blue wire, I'm actually going to use red wire that I'm supplying. You don't have to do this. I want to, because it's going to make it a lot easier to install these lights. Take them out if you need to change out the bumper, or you have to do any work to the vehicle. It just makes it that much easier to disconnect them. So I actually have some disconnects I'm going to put on there that I showed you guys earlier. And the red wire, because I do not have blue wire. So I got my red wire. that's going to go to this brown wire. So I'm going to get my quick splice. Now you want to have the wire that's on the vehicle, the straight through wire. So the wire supplying the power is going to go on this outside. The wire that you want to connect to that wire is going to go to the farthest inside, from the other side of this notch, because it has a little block off in the end, so you're going to slide it in there, and then you're going to actually take a pair of pliers and smash this down, and that's going to supply power to both wires. So we're going to go ahead and stick this wire in there. Okay, so see, we've got it nice and loose right here on the outside. Make sure it's all the way in there on the outside. The wire you want to splice in there, you're going to go ahead and slide that bad boy in there. Take your pliers. Just hold it however you're going to keep it from sliding out. And just want to smash that bad boy in there. Let me get this more straight here. Alright, got that all the way down. We'll give it a little tug test right here. Nice and tight. And I should have mentioned at the very beginning, make sure you disconnect your battery before you do this. You don't want to end up hitting this positive on a ground. Well, the lights are not on. If they were on, then it'd probably blow a fuse, but it's still wise to, when doing any electrical work, you disconnect the battery so you don't have any mishaps and short things out and all that bad stuff. Okay, we go ahead and get our black wire set up now. Make sure you look in here and see which direction these are going to go. You want the wire coming out. You don't want the wire going in, because then it's going to look wrong. Okay, get that to pop in there. There we go. Let's go ahead and take our black wire now. Slide that bad boy in there. Okay. Gotta get these underneath here. Okay. Get that blade to go down. Let me get a better angle on this again, just to make sure we get this all the way clamped there. Take this little door, flip it over, because this is going to be a hot wire, so you want to make sure that's covered. There you go. Now we have our makeshift blue and our black wire ready to go. So these are going to get cleaned up before we put this back in the vehicle as well, just so that way it doesn't look, she don't look bad. Okay, so we got these quick connectors. Make sure you get a female and a male connector. You really don't want to put a male to male or female to female, because you're not going to be able to connect them. So make sure you check them before you put them on there. You don't want to put the wrong ones on. So I'm going to start with this outer side here, this red wire. We're going to go ahead and splice that about yay far. Okay. These can actually be a little shorter. You know what? We're going to cut these, get a little bit less length on here, because they don't need to be, they just need to be almost just about as long as the stock connector, just maybe a little bit longer. Okay, we'll cut these. So now we'll go ahead and splice this. Okay. We'll take our connector, take our male connectors. So I'm going to do males on the receiving end. Insert your wire, and this is where the crimper comes in handy. center crimper. Okay. Perfect. I want to get this on the other side. There we go. I like to get it closer up to the top up here. Get a little tug test. Make sure we're good. We'll do the same for the black wire. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Another male connector here. Just twist this up a little bit. Okay. I found if you're doing this with one hand, I found it's easier to actually let gravity help you. Then when you get your crimper on there, you can actually drop this thing down in there, crimp it. Perfect. Nice and tight. And we'll do the same for the actual headlight itself. Okay, so we have the headlight. I put it on a chair with some cloth on it so we don't scratch anything up. We're going to do the same thing on the headlight side. Wherever I put that box connectors. Okay, so we're going to get our female connectors now because we put the male connectors on those other wires. Now we're going to put our female connectors on these. We got our blue wire. This is going to go to that red wire, and the black is going to go to the black. So go ahead and put that bad boy in there. We'll get our splicer or our crimper tool. Go ahead and crimp this. Perfect. Let's get a little tug test. Good. Take our black wire. We'll do the same exact thing. Okay. Go ahead and crimp this. All right. Little tug, and we're good. So now we have our quick disconnects ready to go. Okay, so now we got everything all set up. So what we need to do is we need to get the bolt out of the stock harness. Okay, so now we're almost done. All we need to do now is, this is the old headlight, right? And this is the parking light. So right here, where the orange or yellow is, we're going to go ahead and counterclockwise turn this. We'll pop that out. So we have our light. That's the only thing you need to have from the old headlights. Now we're going to take this right here. They have like little tape covers. I'm going to peel that off. And we're going to go ahead and put our parking lamp into the new headlight. Just like that. Now let's go ahead and get this angled up. Now we're going to take our quick disconnect wires, black to black. Okay, good connection there. Our red to blue, because remember we use our red wire to bridge to the blue wire. And then we're going to go ahead and connect the actual light. Now I have the headlight sitting up on top just so I can get some of this good stuff. I have tons of this stuff in spools, and I'm going to go ahead and clean these up just as an extra thing, just to keep my buddy happy with the work. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out. Okay, give it a little bit extra. We can always cut more off later. It's better to use a little bit more and trim it to fit than it is to try to get the exact and then end up not having enough, and then you just wasted that whole piece. So actually using more is actually wasting less in some instances. Unless specifically the application you're doing calls for a specific measurement, but this does not. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that guy in there. These are cool because you can slide them up. Once the wire's in there, it slides really easy. Okay, almost done. Sometimes they can be a little annoying, but we'll get it. There we go. Perfect. And that looks good. So now that we have everything plugged in, we're going to go ahead and reinstall these. So make sure that the wires that you have on here are going back in this hole. Okay. You want to plug in your parking lights. This the correct way. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and put this back through. So we can go ahead and get this cinched back up in there properly. There we go. And we'll take our slide mounts and we'll pop these back in. Now don't put them all the way down right away. Make sure you get them lined up so that way you have less issues. Once you get the first two fed in, then you can pop them down. There we go. Now we'll get the other side done. We'll go ahead and test these out. All right, so we got them installed. We got the parking light feature on, which looks pretty darn good. Got the halos, you have those little markers on the sides. Now let's go ahead and turn on these regular headlights. So we got the headlights that are on. Looks pretty darn good.